bring competition in the marketplace of education. The fact is, education and health are two areas where they don't reap the benefits of market forces, and we need to do something about it.
Thank you, sir. Corey Stewart.
Thanks a lot. I do the thing, just like Steve. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. And Steve, I do want to thank you and everyone for setting this up. I walked in here and I looked at the stage and thought, oh my goodness, you know, what are we running for president? I mean, this is beautiful. And it's definitely the most elaborate stage and setup that we've debated and we've had. But think about 16 debates or so. And I joke, but it's really true. We could all give each other speeches. Every one of them. In fact, I know how Scott's going to end his. No. But it's great to be here. When I ran for chairman of the Board of Supervisors, they told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't actually get elected on a conservative agenda in Northern Virginia, 425,000 residents, but I did. And once I did that, they told me I couldn't implement it. They said that Prince William County was growing too fast, it was too diverse, it was too complex. You're not going to be able to cut the budget. But I did, cutting $143 million worth of spending, bringing down average tax bills 8.5%. And then they said you couldn't do anything about illegal immigration, that no locality of any size or any state, for that matter, had done anything about it. But I did. We implemented the toughest crackdown on illegal immigration anywhere in the United States, resulting in more than 6,000 criminal illegal aliens being handed over to the federal government for deportation and a drop in violent crime of 48.7%. And then they told me I couldn't get reelected in 2011 after Barack Obama won my county by 57% of the vote. And the DPV spent $500,000 trying to get me out of office. They knew this was the linchpin seat. But I did. I beat my Democratic opponent by 30 points, winning 72 out of 77 precincts. And now some are saying that we can't do it. We can't win unless we move to the center, move to the left. They're wrong. We need to stick to our principles. Pro-life, anti-gay marriage, pro-business. And we will win in November. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Scott Lingamfelter, your turn.
Folks, I want to make a point to you. In 2013, a brush fire of liberalism broke out in America. The question is, will Virginia be the firebreak? I want to tell you a story. The challenge of our time is liberty. In 1843, a young Massachusetts scholar was doing research on the surviving members of the Revolutionary War, and they found Captain Levi Preston, 70 years older than this fellow. He was 90 years old. And the young scholar said to Captain Preston, "So, you went out to fight the British?" The old gentleman didn't say anything. He just stood there silently. And he said, "Well, you were oppressed." He said, "We weren't oppressed." He said, "Well, what about the Stamp Act? You were mad about the Stamp Act." "Never paid a penny for one." "Well, what about the tea tax? You were angry about the tea tax." He said, "Never drank a drop of it. The boys threw it in the harbor before we got there." "Well, what about Locke and Sidney and Harrington and the great writers of liberty? You must have read them." He said, "The only books we had were the Bible, Isaac Watts' hymnal, and an almanac." And finally, in frustration, this youngster finally said to him, "Then why did you go out to fight?" And the old gentleman gave this immortal response: "We had always been free, and we intended to stay free always. And the redcoats were in our way." Folks, the redcoats of today want to take our property, destroy our Constitution, ruin this republic. If you ask me to be your lieutenant governor and you allow me to carry that God on as I did in battle, I will always stand against tyranny and always stand with liberty. God bless you, and thank you for inviting us tonight.
And Susan Stimson, your closing statement, please.
That's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here this evening. You have a tough decision. You have 7 people from which to choose. And I think it gets down to leadership. And what does each of these people up here running for this office believe is the role of government? I can tell you I believe that government exists to secure and defend our right to life, to liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Anything outside of that is infringing on your rights. A limited government, rolling it back, it keeps the power where it should be, and that's with you, to make decisions for yourself and for your family. What does that mean to the average Virginia family? I believe that true liberty allows us to be everything that God intended us to be. And we as Republicans right now, not only are we caving on tax hikes and entitlements, and it worries me about the next freedom, maybe just a little bit of gun control, well, you know, so we can win the next election. But Republicans right now are tone deaf. We're insisting on speaking to the culture and saying, this is where you are. And the culture says, no, this is where we are. It's similar to a time when I was managing a staff, and when I would call the college kids on the phone, they wouldn't answer. Now, I could have insisted on continuing to call them on the phone and not get a solution to the problem. But if I texted them, I got an answer. It's all about engaging the culture where they are, persuading them on these issues because we're right on these issues. I have an actual record of reducing and limiting the size of government. I'm going to take that same record to the Virginia State House as lieutenant governor and use that leverage of that tie-breaking vote to move the ball forward on conservative principles, as I've done in my leadership role in Stafford County. I'm not doing this because I want to be someone. I'm doing this because I want to do something. And I'm going to be a watchdog for your liberty. I'd be honored to have your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Pete Snyder?
Thank you so much, Fighting Ninth. Thank you for having us here tonight. But more importantly, thank you for opening up your hearts and homes to our Big Ideas campaign. Clearly, we're doing a little too well, I think, these days. Folks, I've traveled all around Virginia and all around Southwest Virginia in the Fighting Ninth. And I've learned a lot. One thing I've learned is we Republicans, we love to talk about the past, don't we? We love to talk about the past. All due respect here, I've been to umpteen million Reagan legacy dinners, and I love the Gipper, and I have a good time at each of those things. But answer this question for me. When did you ever hear Ronald Reagan give a speech about Dwight D. Eisenhower? When did he ever talk about 1982 going back to 1950? It is 2013. We need to be, just as Reagan was, relentlessly focused on the future. I've been blessed. I've hired hundreds of people over my career, but not once did I hire a single person based on their resume. That may have gotten them in the door, but they had to look me in the eye and tell me exactly what their vision was and where they want to take that job. And I'm going to look you in their eye right now and tell you I will focus like a laser beam on education reform. I will fight to make sure that we have jobs here in the Fighting Ninth, and we have economic development by cutting the corporate income tax. I'll also work hard to roll back the tyranny of big government by reducing the size and scope of government by 10%. I'm looking out in the crowd, and I see a lot of friends, some folks who might be uncertain, some folks who may have stickers for other people. I'll tell you a story. I met my wife, Burson, when she was on a date with another guy. So if you have uncertainty about this guy or love in your heart for someone else, that's just fine by me. I will work hard to win you over. Thank you very much.
Thank you. E.W. Jackson.
Well, Mr. Chairman, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. And I hope that I am not out of order by saying this, but I want to say, because I consider both of you to be friends, Jean Marie and Pete, in less than 2 months, this is going to be over. And we're going to need everybody working together. And people are capable of figuring out who we really are. We really don't have to devour each other in order for people to figure that out. And by the way, not to put too fine a point on it, if I win the nomination, I want you both helping me, working together. Folks, Ronald Reagan said, freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. We do not pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for and protected and passed on to them to do the same. Where we will spend our sunset years telling our children about the United States of America, where once men were free. That's what this election is all about. And the question is not whether any of us is capable of doing this job. I don't see a single person on the stage who I think is just incapable of it. I think the question is, who do you believe is right for this moment? Who do you believe has the character to deal with the opposition and the pressure that is going to come against them in trying to stand up for the things that we enunciated here? Who do you believe loves this Commonwealth, loves this country, loves God, loves you enough to die for it if necessary? That's the kind of leadership, in my view, that we need right now. We need leadership that will inspire and unite and bring in new people. And while I don't live in the past, I'll tell you what, I could use a little Ronald Reagan right now, because I want the 21st century to be the greatest century in the history of this country. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Thank you, sir. Jean Marie Davis, your closing statement, please.
Thank you very much for being here and hearing us this evening. One of the things that I want to talk with you about is something that I think is very important, and that's electability. You know, in Northern Virginia, we lost by 200,000 votes. We lost by 120,000 votes in Fairfax County. And when we went to look afterwards to see why we lost by such large numbers, and unfortunately, those numbers were so large that we couldn't overcome them with the great effort that all of you put forth, and actually the better performance we did in 2012 that you did than in 2008. So we went back to look at why we had such significant losses, and we came to find out that we had lost our ethnic voters, who are 30% of the vote in Northern Virginia. Hispanics, Vietnamese, and Koreans are our largest voting bloc, and they didn't vote for us. A lot of it had to do with the fact that neither of the campaigns, Romney or Allen, reached out to them very much, and Obama and Kaine did. But I'm very proud to tell you that I have every ethnic Republican leader on board my campaign. 2 weeks ago, we filed 1,000 delegates in Fairfax County, my campaign, and 400 of them were ethnic voters. I have ethnic voters in Rico and in Hampton Roads that are coming on board, and my campaign is going to bring 500 or 600 ethnics to the convention. And I think that's so important, because I feel that when they come and they're warmly welcomed, when they hear our platform, they're going to know that they're conservatives and we're the conservative party, and they should be voting for us. And perhaps we can plant a seed and bring them back so that we can win in Northern Virginia. I know that I can build the bridge with the ethnic voters in Northern Virginia, where we lost so significantly, for Ken Cuccinelli. I also have the support of the business community in Northern Virginia, another bridge that we need to build. And so I know that I am the greatest asset. I won in a district that was 17-point Democrat generic. Only 25% of my voters were Republican. 25%. But I won 4 times, twice with 60% of the vote, because I had ethnic voters and women voters voting for me. I know I can be a great asset for Ken in Northern Virginia and help our ticket win statewide. And I'd appreciate your support on May 18th. Thanks so much for having us this evening.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for not applauding when Steve Martin told you what a handsome group you are. But it would be absolutely appropriate to thank these folks for coming to Southwest Virginia tonight. Would you do that?
Everybody, please sit. You can sit down. We've got a couple things left to do. And yeah, if you guys, you can exit the stage. Yeah, good. Thank you so much. We want to thank all those that came out today, and especially the candidates. And I hope that they enjoyed the questions that the 9th District put together for them. We wanted to make sure that they were very informative because these are the questions that the 9th District had on their minds. At this time, I'd like to ask Jack Morgan to come back up on the stage for me, please. We'd like to present this plaque to Steve Hawkins for being our moderator. It has our Virginia 9 2013 debate logo on it, and it says, "To be it known that Virginia's 9th Congressional District Republican Committee does hereby recognize and appreciate the dedicated service of Steve Hawkins of the Steve Hawkins Show of SuperTalk 92.9 WFHG as the moderator of the 2013 9th District Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General candidate debate, given on this day, 23rd day of March 2013 in Abington, Virginia, signed by both Jack Morgan and myself." Thank you. One of the things that we want to make sure that that happens, and we try to put this on as a very professional debate, is we're looking forward to hopefully getting the gubernatorial and fall election debates and have here also. So if you can please let people know how well this debate was, and especially those that are out there and watching on the internet, please let your officials know and to come again. But we want you to be informed. We want you to be able to take part, and we look forward to seeing you at the convention. I now like to turn the time over to Jack Morgan.
Let's give everyone involved a big hand. This was a great event. Everybody hang tight, a couple real quick things we need to get through. First, I want to recognize Alex Stanley, Director of Development from RPV, another 9th District person that made it up to Richmond and is represented as well. Come on up quickly, Alex. She's got something quick to tell you. Come on, Alex. Are you really complaining to me about a hurt foot? Really? Not a lot of sympathy. I'm sorry.
I'll be very, very brief. I want to thank you all for coming tonight, too. I've worked with most all of you in the past when I worked for RPV down here in Southwest, and then with various candidates, too. So I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. Know that Anthony and I are always here for you with at RPV up in Richmond. So feel free to use us. And, you know, only 1/2% of all Americans are involved politically. And so, again, I just want to thank you for coming out tonight and taking 2 hours out of your Saturday evening to listen to our candidates and be concerned for the future of the Commonwealth. So, but as Anthony mentioned, at RPV, we're very focused on the convention right now, May 17th and 18th. Just wanted to go over a few really quick things with you. And then, as he mentioned, everything is on the website, rpvconvention.com, and it's laid out beautifully. We've developed this website that has all the information that you could possibly really need for the convention. You can be a delegate, a guest, or a volunteer to the convention. So we really we need your help. So I'll talk about the volunteer aspect in just a second. But registration begins on Friday at 8 a.m. Doors open at noon. Convention begins at 2 on Friday. And then later on in the evening, we'll have the Commonwealth dinner on Friday evening, as well as hospitality suites at 9. On Saturday, registration begins at 7:30. Doors open at 8, and the convention will reconvene on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We will have elected officials speaking, special guests, and then obviously all of our candidates will give speeches, and then we'll go into the wonderful voting process. So know that the dinner and the breakfast are separate. You can purchase tickets online for that. And like I said, all the information is online. We do need volunteers for the convention. They've deemed me in charge of that this year. So I've relied on a lot of you guys in the past to help me out. So if you're able to come up and help, we really do need a lot of volunteers. Sergeant of Arms, which pretty much makes sure that everything that goes smoothly on the floor of the convention, registration, welcoming committee, and then obviously we need help at the events as well. So again, rpvconvention.com. All the information is on there. Contact Anthony or I if you ever have any questions, and we look forward to seeing you in May. Thanks.
Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, real quick, everybody hang tight. Just a few things. We need to thank several people that helped. This was a fantastic debate. Great venue. Everything looks wonderful. We need to thank Dale Yance from Duke's Printing. KVAT, which is Food City, Southwest Virginia Higher Education Center, Steve Hawkins, Mike Honaker, Michelle Jenkins, Delegate Israel O'Quinn, Sheriff Fred Newman, Washington County Sheriff's Department, Aiden Williams from Giles County. He did the 9th District logo, graphic design work, fantastic. Give him a big hand. He is a very talented young man. We'll be using him again in the future, I hope. And the 9th District Debate Planning Committee, Rich McBeth, who you've seen a couple times, Kevin Corbett, Tucker Davis, Adam Tolbert, and Jack Weaver. They did a fantastic job. I turned it over to them and didn't touch it. They did it all. They're great. Thank you so much. RPV Convention, you know about. This video of this entire night will be on our website, va9gop.org, sometime tomorrow afternoon. Quickly, go ahead and stretch. Go ahead and stand up and stretch a minute. You're getting ready to go out the door. But, folks, you've heard from all of our candidates. 2 of these folks are going to be your candidates this year. On May 18th, we're going to decide. But as I said at the beginning, it's not about them. It's about you. It's about your freedoms. It's about your liberties. It's about your jobs. It's about your families. So get behind these candidates. They can't do it. You have to do it. Get to work helping our candidates do more than you've ever done, because it's more important than it's ever been. Our nation is at a bad time, a tough time. We need somebody to stand between us and Washington, D.C., somebody to stand between us and Barack Hussein Obama. I challenge you to do more than you've ever done. Give it all you've got. I refuse to allow my nation to fail. I ask you to join me and do the same thing. God bless you, and please, God bless America.